So there we go. Recording in progress. Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor at Samson Properties. In this session, we are going to talk about doing a CMA slash market snapshot slash fruit bowl slash what are the other tools that we have available to us. So pretty excited about this one. And I am thrilled that we are able to bring it to you. So with that, one of the things in our 5-4-3-2-1 that we teach and use as a fundamental tool is 5 contacts a day, 4 text messages, 3 emails, 2 CMAs, and 1 added to your database. So it is that 2 CMAs that we're going to talk about today. People often panic, especially as a new agent, concerned about pricing properties as well. Okay. So here, let me share with you a tip that I learned when I was in my training that still has come in handy. So if you're a new agent in the industry, here's a couple things you can do. First off, either go into Cardinal Nest or to my website, because you know my website is your backup go-to source. It is lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net. It is nothing more than the Bull Trails platform. From there, I have added an agent resource center tab across the top because you, our Samson agents, and all those that I reach out to are part of my SOI. So, and I wanted to have stuff available to you 24/7. So under the Agent Resource Center, first tab is bonus handouts. And that is where you can find the fruit bowl. Take that and any of these other ideas and options. I would start with the fruit bowl because it's just quick and easy. I'd print out 10 copies and I'd pick up one. I would look on the MLS of whatever populated up in my immediate footprint. I would write down the address on the worksheet. I would see what Zillow, Realtor, the appraisal, the other platforms have guesstimated its value to be. I'd put a note on there as to what it was listed for as well. I would track it maybe at the end of the week, see if it was still on the market. I would, check again at the end of the next week. When it finally got to sold, I would add the price down of what it actually sold for. Now, what I would do whenever possible, if I could, I would go preview the house as well. Then I would ask myself, do you agree with that price point? Do you disagree and why? And then I would do my estimation or guesstimation of value. And I would compare it to what it actually sold for at the end. Most of the time I was, you get pretty good at it after a while, but if you're brand new and scared to death, that is a great technique to start just in your practicing range and confident building range as well to say, did I hit it or was I way off? So that is a unique way, again, to build your confidence and your skills in pricing property. So Denise, question, got your hand up?
Yeah, I use that all the time, the fruit bowl. And what I'm finding, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but if anybody else is finding this, you go in and you get all those prices from Realtor, Zillow, blah, 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 put the house on the market, and then you go back and look at those. The prices on all those adjust based upon
The
the
list
price you
price.
have it for sale. And then
Mm-hmm.
your client's like, well, we should have priced it higher because now look at what it says. And I'm like, no, if you recall, that's not what it said
Yeah.
before we listed it.
Yeah.
So I don't really
it
understand that.
gives it gives a range, and yes, it's fluid, but that is where I would recommend, because you've had that objection, I would step back and say, okay, Denise, when I have my realtor hat on and I'm in front of the client, what can I say as I'm presenting this to them to overcome that objection before it ever comes part of what the consultation, process is all about anyway. And so I would look at it and say, okay, that's come up. Let me address it before it comes out of their mouth. So I would tell them that all of this stuff is nothing more than AI, artificial intelligence. It is better, and again, it's right in my seller consultation is if you are getting showings, then you're within range. If you're getting no showings, you're priced too high. If you're getting showings and no offer, you are still too high. It's when we have it spot on, which sometimes is nothing more than throwing jello on the wall. But once we have it spot on, and again, I don't control the buying pool. The buyers control the price that they are ready, willing, and able to offer for the property. That being said, again, part of my job is to educate you, the consumer, on how the business of real estate works. And this is why I'm explaining this to you. So here are the components. This is AI. It's a little bit of a crapshoot. When we are too high, we're going to get no showings. People aren't stupid. If we're spot on or within range, they're going to come look, but if we're not getting an offer, that tells us we are too high. And they will not submit an offer in because their thought process is, and I've dealt with buyers, so I know, if you're unrealistic now, what's that seller going to be like during the process of being unrealistic? So they won't even put in an offer. Now, if it's just right or even just below, even a couple $1,000s below, what that creates is a bidding war. And it always depends on how many buyers are in the buyer pool right now, not last month, not next month, but right now, that are looking at purchasing a property. It's all those are all factors that are determined in. We cannot control how many buyers are out there. We cannot control what price point they're qualified in. Frankly, if it was my call, I'd price the property at $1 million and see if we could get it. But I know we're not going to. So what we want to do is look at variables. I need to compare an apple to an apple. What does your property have or not have that a similar property in this footprint offers? So, Mr. Seller, I want you to put take your seller hat off for a minute and put your buyer hat on. We have 4 properties right within this little, footprint that the buyer is going to be looking at. If there is one property that's priced too high, your assumption is going to be is that is an unrealistic seller. And if they're going to be unrealistic now, they're going to be unrealistic during the process of the purchase. May or may not be your best option. Now, you, the buyer, are looking at an apple to an apple. I'd rather come in here and bid up than to try to bring it down. Does that make sense? And they usually go, mm-hmm. So ask them to change their hat and put the other side on. If you were a buyer, how would you view this property and this price point? Again, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, we don't know. But this is what a buyer often will look at and articulate to us. Well, if they're unrealistic now, they're going to be unrealistic in the process. I've got 3 other options. Let me go take a look. But again, so we always step back with you have an option. Is it your only option? Nope. You have multiple options, but is it your best option? That's not for me to decide. That's for you to decide once you are well informed and educated on how the business of real estate really works. And I'll usually shut them down. Okay, so this is being recorded, so you can go back and listen to it if you need to refresh on it. But it's a great question, great strategy. But it, as a new agent, you understand loud and clear, and it is part, which is why it is part of the seller consultation. It doesn't matter what the online artificial intelligence has to say about estimation. It is nothing more than a guesstimation, an estimation of property value. We have to take into consideration other factors. What is available financing? What are the other options? What is going on? Are we in the middle of a snowstorm and nobody can go out and see property? So there's several factors that we have to take into consideration when we are considering how to price a property. But as a new agent, this is a great thing to at least start playing with a little bit, because it's going to build your skills and it's going to build your confidence just a little bit more, because your first time out, man, it scares you to no end, because you're not sure if you are, but what if I'm off? What if I'm too high? What if I'm too low? That's why you have mentors as a brand new agent, is to help you assess and determine that. So there you go. All right. So the fruit bowl technique, the flyer, as a reminder, is available in one of two places. You can go to Cardinal Nest, and in the search box on the upper right hand side, you just type in fruit bowl. It should populate up. And you can go to my website, linhamilton.samsonproperties.net. It is the Bold Trails platform, Agent Resource Center. Drop down box is the first one is bonus handout. You'll find it there. It's in a grid. So you just go down, you click on it, bingo, it comes up. Okay, so that is one. That is one option. The other options are I want either a reaction. So again, either thumbs up, thumbs down, heart, whatever. Have you, as an agent, and I can only speak for Samson Property agents, because you have the Bold Trails or Lofty platform for a website. And for you other ones that are in other footprints, ask yourself, do you have something similar on a program or a link that you've got available to you? Have you gone into Bold Trails on your website? First off, I'm hoping it's awake, and have actually put your address in the tab that says estimation or home value? Have you put your address in there and got to see what then gets populated and what comes out from that? So if you haven't, that is your first thing I'm going to ask you to do. Make yourself a little note of things you need to do after this class is over. Number one, download the fruit bowl. Number two, go to the website, your website, put in your address, and see what automatically starts populating up and what starts coming back. I did it a couple years ago, and I think I don't remember now if I was able to set it per quarter or monthly or whatever, but about once a quarter, I get an email from myself that tells me, according to the system, what the estimated value of my property currently is. Love it. So if you haven't done that, put that as number 2 on your to-do list as soon as we are done. The next thing, in Real Scout, as a Samson agent, you have a free Real Scout account. Your website is also free of charge to you, courtesy of Samson and Cardinal Title, which is why we always love to plug our Cardinal. Make sure that you have set yourself up in as a pretend client in Real Scout as a buyer or a seller or whatever you're able to do, just so you can see how it interacts. Because once you see that, then you can start thinking, okay, well, now I see what my clients are going to get, and you're more apt to use it. There you go. Number 4 on your little to-do list, I want you to go into, it's NARPR.com. As a member of the National Association of Realtors, you have access to this amazing program known as RPR, and it's the Realtor Property Resource. If you have never gone to NARPR.com and again created the account, it's free, you're already paying for it. Run your property, put your own personal property in there and see what it generates back. It is one of the coolest reports ever. So that is assignment number 4 after this class. Now, for our Samson agents, here is your number 5. Go into the Cardinal Nest. You will log into Bold Trails. Hopefully, you have activated your Bold Trails account. If not, you're going to need to do that. Now, when it comes to Bold Trails, let me pause and do a side note. Bold Trails is this big. It's got a ton of stuff that it can do in there. I know that most agents go into panic mode because it gets all, and yeah, no, settle it back down. You will take one skill set at a time from Bold Trails and make sure that you know how to use it and do it. Now, if nothing else, even if you are just using Bold Trails for your database or for your, your website, I am A-okay with that. I don't care what you use for a database. Now, once you log into your Bold Trails, left-hand side margin, and I just recorded this, so it's going to be up for you. You want to go to more, and then it'll bring up a kind of a side drop-down box. You want to go to marketing. Once you click on marketing, it's going to load up. In the second row, again, there's 3 across. In the second row, you're going to see a box that says present. That is where I want you to click, because it says click here or start here or something. It's obvious. Click. All right. Click there. It's going to load up, and what it's going to give you is one option for win the listing for a seller. And then in the next box immediately over there, there are 2 or 3 options of reports or tools for a buyer. I want you to go into the win the listing. It'll ask for a property address. Put your property address in there and then generate the report. Now, in the how to use Core Present, I have a screenshot walking you through exactly where to click, what to do, where you can add a picture of the house or a generic picture in there as well. So I give you, again, very simple step-by-step of how to use that particular tool. So I want you to do that for your property. Assignment number 6. This is getting long. Next thing I want to do is from Core Present, from that page where it says buyer. There is one that says, what does it say? It's the first tab on the buyer. Okay. It again, it's 4 slides. When you create the report, either from Core Present, either for the buyer or the seller, when it populates up, it is going to give you what is going to look like a PowerPoint that you can email to the client, or you can, I like to use it. I mean, you can print it out as well, because I've done both. But I would use both of those as an introduction prior to a full seller or introduction before a buyer consultation. You are creating that wow factor to win the listing or win the buyer from the very get-go. Once you do it once and know where to click, again, it is pretty simple. It is pretty self-explanatory. It will take you about 1 minute to create it. You get a link, you can email it, you can download it as a PDF, and you got options. And again, in that training, it's going to give you all the options. So again, you got 2 or 3 options. That's all. It's straightforward, easy breezy. That is the first wow factor for a client, is to send them one of those. I would send it in an email. Hey, Denise, I'm just confirming our appointment for Saturday at noon. Here is an introduction. I'm looking forward to our consultation when I meet with you on Saturday. Okay. It creates that wow moment, because it looks like, well, because you created it. So I want you to do it for yourself. I want you to send it to yourself via an email, and then see what it looks like when it opens up. You want a wow? There's your wow. Okay. So if you've not done any of those things, there's your afternoon assignment as soon as we get off this call. All right. A question that often comes up, and I think I saw something pop up in the chat box. I'll go back to the chat box in a minute. But which of the various options are accurate? None of them. None of them. Here's why. Let's pretend we all live in the same neighborhood. You're my neighbor over there, and you're my neighbor over there, and 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 over there, over there. We're all neighbors. We have the exact same house, built in the exact same year, cookie cutter to the 9. Now, think through this for me. Denise went in, and her husband loved to cook, and wine cellar the whole bit. Wine connoisseur, I guess I should say. So they go in and they gut their kitchen. They gut their pantry. They take out the casual dining area because they don't use it. They use the formal dining room. And they build out the most spectacular kitchen and wine place. And I mean, you name it, it is drop dead gorgeous. We're going to her house later, by the way. I'm just kidding. So, but that's what she's into hers. So now, has she upped the value of her property? Yes, because it is no longer exactly the same as the cookie cutter that the rest of us have. Now, let's see who else I want to pick on. Let's say David here is, I mean, he barbecuing man, backyard, he has decked it out. He's got the deck, he's got the barbecue, everything that's attached. There's a pizza oven. We're going to his house next. He has got the grill, the Blackstone, whatever they call it. the whole shoot man. Got a refrigerator out there. He's got beer on tap out there. Got the little margarita machine going. He's decked it out. So is David's property the same value as the rest of ours? No, because he's upgraded it. Let's say Lisa decided, ooh, ladies, you can appreciate this. She took the main primary suite and the primary suite for the bathroom and turned it into a spa. She has upgraded everything, added a chandelier, added the jacuzzi tub, added the sauna, added the everything. Is Lisa's property the same value as the rest of ours? Yeah, no. And Lisa just said, yeah, I did. Okay. So is her property the same value as the rest of ours? No, because of all those upgrades. So it's yes, location, two, amenities. We all have the same square footage, same square number of bedrooms and bathrooms, but David's is more because it's condition of the amenities or the upgrades that you have done. Denise's is going to be more. David's is going to be more. Lisa's going to be more. And so let's compare mine. Let's pick on me. It's all pretend, by the way. I've got 57 dogs. Just kidding. I have 3. They're big. No, they're not. I have small ones. And I have let them run through the house and completely tear it up. I mean, they've chewed on the banister, you name it, they've done it. So is my house in the condition that it is in the same value as everybody else's? No. And it is certainly not the same value now that David, Lisa, and Denise's are. No. So this is why, people, you cannot ever, I'm going to say this again in case you went to sleep, you can never just tell a consumer that based off AI, I will list and sell your home for this amount. Gang, you want to get a fine slapped on you? There it is. It is intentionally misleading. You have not done your due diligence because, again, the 3 things that go into consideration are location and amenities, condition of the amenities, or any upgrades of those amenities. Those are the components that must be taken into consideration when you're pricing a property. So that is why I always use the term estimation or guesstimation. It's a word. I think I made it up, but I don't care. It is an estimation or guesstimation of value off me only being able to take 2 of the 3 key components into play. I can't make a full assessment of value on your property until I've had a chance to see it. I need to see what amenities you have. I need to see the condition of the amenities, and I need to see what you have added that somebody else hasn't, which would bring your value to wherever it's going to be. That is how you address and talk to a consumer. There is a couple of agents that are this close, and they're not ours, by the way, are this close to getting in hot water. Their marketing promotion is text me your address and I will tell you what I will list and sell your home for. I'm sorry, that is not okay. Because here's what's going to happen. I remember with the 57 dogs that have eaten the house up, I am going to text Mr. So-and-so agent. I'm going to text him my address. He is going to look at the complex. He is going to give me a guesstimation, but never tell me any of the other components. So he's going to tell me that he will list my house for, well, I'm just making up numbers, $650,000. I go, cool. Let's go. Come on. He comes over, he walks to my door and he's like, oh, I didn't know that your appliances are broken. The oven door is hanging off. The showers are all dripping. Oh yeah, that mold in there. Yeah, that's not good either. You're looking at those amenities and going, lady, we may be able to list for 500. And I said, but you told me 650. Well, in the condition it's in, we can't list for 650, but you told me it was 650. See where this is creating a huge, huge, huge problem out there. Part of our job is to educate the consumer on how the business of real estate works. And anytime anybody asks you for home value, make sure that you are including in there, which is why it's on that fruit bowl plate paper and everything else. It is nothing more than an estimation of value. We do not know. A professional cannot assess the value of your home until we get in it and see what you've done. What, again, location, amenities, condition of the amenities. That can alter a price point 30, 50, $100,000 on an, I'm going to say an average below 750 price point of a property. You get into the higher up and you've got a whole other can of worms. Okay. But for the average, I'm going to say average price point, it can vary dramatically. So be careful spewing out, I can list and sell your home for X amount, because no, you cannot make that promise and get that guarantee. I'm seeing a few heads nodding along with me on this one. Okay. Your job is to help educate the consumer. And it is a perfect time to say, part of my job is to help educate the consumer on how the business of real estate works. And this part I love because I get to explain how all this AI stuff works. Now, the homes that may have sold may have been in horrible condition. I need to look at the pictures. I need to assess that. I need to look at the pictures and see if they're all upgraded and all in good shape. There's half a dozen pieces of this puzzle that we need to assess to put together. So I don't care if you're using Bright MLS. I don't care if you're using Zillow, Realtor, eAppraisal, home. I mean, there's a half a dozen sources. But here, let me tell you, what is the primary source of information that all these other online vendors pull from?
Right.
MLS. You are correct. Bright MLS. That is the primary source. And I love it and laugh when a certain company that rhymes with pillow says, or the other one, that says, we being that other company, are the reliable source for realtors. I laugh because no, it's not. Those other companies. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little insight. These other companies, and there's hundreds of them out there, hundreds. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of other sites that carry property. They buy fields of information off of Bright MLS. I can't believe we're getting off on this, but we are. So because this is important, and I don't think I've ever really shared it in any other training component. Let's say it's abchomes.com. I'm just making that up. That's all pretend. They come in and they say, okay, our budget will allow us to buy 10 fields of information from the MLS. And they're going to put it on their site. Then they're going to hopefully try to compete with the Pillow and the other companies for online searches. Once the client clicks on and they've got to register, that client does not know or understand that you, the agent, have no control over which fields of information they purchased. They also do not understand and know that once they click on it and fill that, squeeze page out, their information is being sold to potentially multiple real estate agents, which is why their phone starts blowing up. That is how those other companies get their information. They get it directly out of Bright. And that's nationwide. I don't know if it's global, but it's certainly nationwide as well. So if you ever have a client that comes back and says, well, I saw my house listed on abc.com, but it had this, and why didn't it have this? You got no control over it. You as an agent have control as to what goes into Bright. You have no control over what fields of information these other sites purchase to be able to use on their site. Does that make sense to everybody? Give me a thumbs up if that's making sense. Okay, good. All right. So that is a little bit of back information that most people don't know. So that being said, now if you ever get asked from a client, well, why didn't this, or this show up? Or why is there only 3 pictures of my property on this site? You got no control. They may only buy 3 pictures and you got no control over which ones they purchase. So that is all behind the scenes mechanics that you got no control over. So this is why what goes into the Bright MLS or whatever your system is called, wherever you're at, why it's so important that it is kept current and updated, because the other sites pull from them. Now, who remembers years ago during the short sale market when so the MLSs did not have a option for contingent. They just had active, pending, and sold. A short sale could not go into pending until they had an offer on it. So it's showing as active. There may be 2,500, exaggeration, but 25 offers that have gone in on that property, and there was no way, and it's pending short sale approval, there was no way for it to be correctly and properly reflected. So the Association of Realtors, the various local, did their petitions and did their whatever. They were able to get many of them changed so that they could put it as contingent. It was contingent on short sale approval. That's how that came about. Now, I don't even think that most of them have that anymore because it was needed for that market. But if you ever hear anything about it, that's what that is. Okay, so let's move on. So you have tapped into each of the tools that are available for you as an agent. And now what do you do with it? Here's your challenge. Now that you know what they look like and what they are, here is my double dog dare you challenge. Every week or every day that you are working, you should create 2, number 5432, 2 CMAs for somebody. Now, you start with your A's. If you've done Jumpstart 3, you know you've got your database sorted and organized. You start with all your A's. Tom Ferry teaches this one. You print it out. You put a Post-it note on it and say, this was interesting. What do you think? Do you agree? Love to chat. Your name on a Post-it note, fold it up and mail it off to them. Now, you could do the same thing with an email. Are you absolutely sure they're going to open that email? No. Could they just go swipe and delete? Yeah, they could. So how do you handle that? You email it to them. Oh, wait a minute. In the 5 calls, 4 text messages, you message them and say, hey, I just sent you over something. interesting, intriguing. Love to get your 2 cents on it. Let me know what you think. You're not telling them what you sent, but now they're going to take a look at it. Okay. So you just knocked out a 5, maybe a 4 on your list, and your 2. There you go. You're making progress. Now, if they respond, great. If they don't, you know what? No, I don't care. No biggie. You're off to the next 2. You're off to the next 2. You're off to the next 2. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. I want you to incorporate that into your vocabulary. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. If they respond, great. If they don't, I don't care. I've got 10 more that just went out. Somebody's going to respond. Now they may look at it and go, "Oh, interesting." They may look at it and stick it in the the folder or the, clip it on the refrigerator. It may sit there for 3 months before they finally reach back out to you. But you've done your job. You are sending that little seed out and down to them. All right. Now, the next thing, that I want to share. We are in the final stage of putting the finishing touches on the packet. It's in Canva. It is using the free version. It is the annual home equity review. I got to tell you, this is the best thing that has hit since sliced bread. And if you've been to the grocery store, you know, because we're snowed in right about now because it's being filmed in January. There is no bread at the store. So there you go. All right. So what is in here? Cover sheet. There you go. Now, let me pause here for a second and give you a bonus tip. Whether it is this or whether it is the listing presentation, core present, or the listing presentation itself, whenever possible, go and do a drive-by, take a snapshot of the house, and embed their house onto the block of the cover where this generic house picture is. You put it in to the core present presentation. You drop it into the listing consultation package that you do as well. Second thing that's going to create the wow factor. And it's all easy to do. All right, so back to the annual home equity review. My mission is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, your home. The front page just has the bullet points of what's going to be covered. What is in here is the first page on there has a little heart faded out in the background. It says, first question, do you still love your home? Does it still meet your needs? That one is worth its weight in gold. Next page over. Estimation of home value. There are 3 key factors to consider determining the value of a home/property: location, amenities, condition of the amenities. We have the picture of the fruit bowl on there, and it says, I say you need to remember to compare an apple to an apple when determining property value. Again, you're educating them on how the business of real estate works. At that point, I would have the actual fruit bowl. If I did RPR, I'd have it. If I did whatever else I did, whether it be through core present or whatever, I would have that document to support and go in with this one. There you go. Next page over. These are all quick talking points. And then there's a 2-page of, again, explaining how the business of real estate works and the key factors that we take into consideration when determining the value of a home. Boom. There it is right there for you as well. Next page over. And again, you're just saying, hey, this is a snapshot or a Polaroid if you want to have fun of what is happening right now in the market. Next page over. You will use these as key questions. You're not giving them answers. You're just saying, hey, as part of the annual review, here are things that are often overlooked. I would encourage you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, to take and reevaluate your current loan. Do you know what your current interest rate is? It's a question. They don't need to answer. Are you still paying mortgage insurance? There's a lot of people that are still paying mortgage insurance that don't need to be paying mortgage insurance. And the lender is not going to tell you that you've now hit the 80-20 ratio where you don't need it anymore. I'm just here to ask the questions. You need to talk to your lender. Do you know about the 80-20? And give me a quick little couple sentences on that. Is this contact your current lender or talk to a mortgage professional for details on that? Did you know that you could, if you are thinking of doing any major upgrades or renovation to your property, you may always use may be possible. You may be able to use some of the equity that's in your property in order to do that. Are you aware that there's a 203K rehab loan? It may or may not apply to you. It's all written right here, all right? And on this page, you would then go in and insert always 2 or 3 preferred lenders in your area that if they're needing additional information, they know who to go to. You never give just one. It is always 2 or 3. And you could say, I know this one, because again, this is one of your key vendors, Jumpstart Session 3. You should know who your preferred vendors are. And you should be able to ask, hey, do you have a 201 or 203K rehab loan available? They'll tell you yes or no. Great. Put them in there. You're not giving information and qualifications. You're not a lender. Don't go in the lane that you're not licensed and a professional in. All right. Next page over. Why consider a home inspection every 5 years or so? I've got some information in there about why a homeowner should consider even a walk and talk. Right there. Oh, and wait. It gives you space to add in 2 or 3 local for your footprint home inspection options if they choose to look into that further. The other one is consider a home warranty. Did you know usually when you purchase, there's one often is offered or provided. But even if it's a new build, you're covered for the first year or so. But we're now 5 or 6 years down. Appliances are not designed to last forever. Have you considered a home warranty? Here are some reasons. And I got home warranty versus home insurance. A lot of people will say, well, I've got home insurance. Okay, that's for certain things. It does not cover repair or replacement of major systems or appliances. You're giving them information. And yes, I've added in there the 3 primary, again, you can adjust them if you work with another vendor, but the 3 primary vendors that we have at Samson or whatever company you're in or whatever footprint you're in, 3 options of home warranties if they choose to want to look into it further. Again, you're just doing a 10-minute annual review. There you go. Next page over. I love this one. How long do things last? It lists the major appliances, the average lifespan, and the average cost to replace it. There you go. So it gives them a chance to look at it. And again, appliances are not designed to last the 20, 30 years like they used to. Okay, who remembers way back Maytag? The Maytag commercials. The Maytag repairman was the loneliest person ever because they're branded that those appliances lasted longer than most because they use quality high-end products, which was awesome. But now they're not designed to last more than 10, 15, 20 years at the max. But with that, so it gives them that information. Again, part of my job, Mr. Homeowner, Miss Owner, is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. You change the oil in your car every few thousand miles. Here are some home maintenance reminders and suggestions of things that also need to be maintained for your property to help keep those appliances running longer. Okay, let me ask y'all a question. How many of you knew that you're supposed to have your hot water heater drained and flushed every few years? I came from California. When we remodeled, I had a tankless water heater put in. I got here, had a regular water heater. It was like, I totally forgot. And it was in the class at Samson that I learned, oh yeah, hot water heaters, because of the harsh water, you're supposed to have them drained and flushed, and some rod in there or something. Went, needless to say,
And
I went, oh my God, I didn't know that. So I quickly went and had it done. It had been
mhm.
8 years. So there you have it. Those are little things that, again, sometimes you yourself have either forgot about or didn't know about. Again, let's talk about car maintenance of oil changes versus replacing filters in the heating and air conditioning system. Are you doing it? Are you reminding your client to do it? One of the gals at our corporate office had a HVAC unit put in, and her company, her installation company, they send her a email reminder every 3 months to replace the filter. There you go. In fact, when you are representing the buyer or the seller, especially the buyer, I would absolutely make sure that one of the things they change out the minute they get in the house, A, the lock, but replace the heating and air conditioning filters. In fact, I would go buy them and bring them to the house for them to replace. We don't know when they were replaced last, unless by chance the seller told me, or in fact there was a note on it when you open the vent up. There's a note on it when it was installed, and how long it's been there. But there have been people that have literally forgot and didn't know that filter was to be replaced, and a year later their unit is not working well and is you know straining to work almost to the point of burning it out. All it was a $10-15 air filter that needed to be replaced and kept clean. Okay, so it's those things. And I just saw a note pop up in the chat. Yeah, winterizing. Especially if you got a buyer, I would buy them those styrofoam caps that go over the outside spigot. I've learned to put them on. I can put them on. Okay. But if somebody like me who came from an area who didn't have winter and didn't know about winterizing a house, they wouldn't know that. Or if they'd been a renter and this is their first time in a home, they may not know. There you go. You are helping them protect the value of their home. So again, there's why we have some maintenance tips for them. And there you go. One of the other pages in here that I stuck together and I skipped over, so let me backtrack a little bit, is title review. So, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, it's always a good idea every so often to check when was the last time you checked on how the property is, how the title is held on the property. If there's been a marriage, a death, a divorce, or a major change in your life, what you had title issued at the time you purchased may be totally different than how you want it now. Spoiler alert, if there's been a divorce and then a remarriage and something happens to one of the spouses, I am sure the new spouse is not going to be thrilled to find out that the title of the house is still in the ex-wife or the ex-husband's name. And it happens. The other thing that they can do is, have there been any major repairs on the property where a mechanic's lien could, keyword, could have been filed that was never released when they got paid. Title sees it all the time. There's a title, a lien, a mechanic's lien, or a lien on title that either nobody knew about, forgot about, whatever, that now has to be released. So again, it's always, again, my job is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. This is a great idea every, I don't know, every couple of years. Double check your title. Make sure there's no lien on there that you don't know about. Because when the day comes that you may need or want to sell, and they pull a full title report and find out that lien has been on there forever, oh yeah, now we got to track down that person that is either deceased, out of business, or in jail. And yes, that has happened. Try getting that lien released real easy. It can be done, but it's going to delay the settlement process because that lien's got to be taken care of before it can be have title transferred on it. So let's double check now, make sure there's nothing messy on there that nobody knew about. And did you know, a simple trip to your local county recorder's office, you can pull title and it can be checked to see if there's anything on there that's going to save you hassles down the road. Now, in some states, California, for example, when I was there, we had title and escrow were different. We could go to our title rep anytime, and within seconds, they would have a title report available to us for us to give to our client. So I would often start my morning, and when I was going to be on my day that I was working on this, I would send her 2, 3, or 4 and say, at your convenience, this is my project for the week. Here's the addresses and the person's name, and they would pull those title reports for me, and I'd have them back in my inbox and within the day for sure, because it could all done electronically. Now, in our footprint here back in the DMV footprint, not the same. Okay, that is where we put in there a simple trip to their local county recorder's office. It's not a bad idea to go check and make sure that everything's okay. There you go. All right. We talk about a home inspection. We talk about home warranty, title, lender, appliances. Boom. There you go. So this can be prepared. I would also, personally, I would add in here a page, and you can get it straight out of Cardinal Title, ways in which to hold title in your state. Those that are in other states, including the state of confusion, you can also go to your title person and ask for a worksheet, because they've already got them. You do not need to create them because you're not working title. You shouldn't be creating it, but get it directly from the source. Ways in which to hold title. I would include it in there as a support document just in case. But I would encourage them to go check and see how title was held, especially if there's been any major life changes in their world. And make sure there's no liens, especially if they've had any construction, remodeling, or jobs done where somebody could have filed a mechanics lien on it. Gang, you want to take your wow factor off the Richter scale, that is it. We always talk about what do we need to do to stay in touch with our SOI, and these are all the tools that you have available to you. And if you're outside of our footprint, email me. I'll get you a copy of this. You just got to customize it a little bit. We've created it in Canva, but we've also used the free Canva clip art in there. So you do not have to pay for a professional account in order to retrieve it. Okay, so I just want to make that clarification. All right, my friends, I cannot believe that our time has flown by. Let me go over real fast to our chat box. I want to see what questions may have popped up that we haven't answered yet. Dun, 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 dun. I think we addressed where you can find the fruit bowl, and thank you, Lisa, for popping that in there for her as well. Appreciate you guys working together. It is all a team effort here. Yes, Real Scout. Again, if you got a spouse, put them in as a pretend client as well. Put yourself in there as a pretend client. Which is more accurate? None of them are quote unquote accurate. It's giving you a range. It's giving you some guidance. You have to lay your little bitty eyeballs onto the property in order to compare an apple to an apple. I think we hit that for you. Yeah. So let me see. Winterizing. Yeah. Again, we talked about that. Great. All right. That takes care of all the questions that popped up in the chat box. With that, we're going to wind this down again. You need to stand out and shine. Be the Uncola. Do what other agents are too lazy to do. Here at Samson, you have a multitude of tools that are available for you. We just walked you through them. We just gave you some homework assignments. Please go do it. Go do it and see what it comes back with. Shoot me an email. Tell me you did. I want to hear back. All right. So with that, my friends, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. Be that Uncola. Stand out from the crowd. These tools are quick and easy to use. Do not be that lazy agent out there and then whining that they don't have business because you've not done anything to help generate that wow factor to create the business. This is why doing an annual review or CMA, whatever you want to call it, is on the 2 of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 daily tasks that every agent should be doing on the days in which they are working. All right, my friends, if you need me, I'm just an email away. Go be awesome. Go be wonderful. And with that, I will say, I will see you in the next session. See you in class. Okay. Bye for now.